So you go back to Suizo now. You begin working on.
So now I start. 2017. Now we are fully working on She. We do a few songs that summer, and then I go back in the winter. We do a few shows, some songs.
I'd like to know about now the working experience, because now Greg and Hook, you guys there's a relationship there, and even you'll tell us later on about where it's gotten to now. But what was that working experience? Studio, the music, creating the music.
So when we catch a vibe, it's really beautiful.
First of all, I was shocked to find out Nainia, who was produced by them.
Yeah, it's Greg and Hook. Anything from 2013 that is Muthoni, except the stuff I've made with Squad, has been Greg and Hook.
I always thought Nainia who was. I was really impressed.
No. So this is also the value. So my Swiss, because they don't have a context of here. They're not trying to make the music that's going to become hot in the streets. They're trying to make good music. So the understanding of hip hop, the ability to sample, like how they hear our culture, it's very dope. I really wish this for every artist, to work with an excellent artist who doesn't have your context. So they don't try to make for you what works in your context. They just try and make you the best you.
That's powerful. I think Mr. Yoka has that. Sometimes when he's not, when he's thinking, anyway, but go on.
So I think for them it was very frustrating because I was very unhappy. So I wasn't moving at the tempo that it could be. And me, I was feeling very frustrated because I'm just like, I don't understand what's happening in my life. So I know you guys need me to write songs, and I'm really desperately trying to find some songs within me or some inspiration. And there is this thing as artists, do you need to find the inspiration, or do you work and then the inspiration finds you in the shamba? So generally the rule is just be in the shamba digging, and then inspiration finds you. So that was, I'll say the beginning of writing She was not fun. And then we caught a vibe. Then slowly, it just started coming. Pole pole. Yeah. Pole pole.
And how long are we talking about you being in the studio?
So we worked, actually, I'm very sorry. We began the very first drafts of She, we began recording in 2016. The very first drafts, I think that's when I wrote Kenyan Message. And then now 2017, we continued.
The momentum picked up.
Yeah, the momentum picked up. So I spent a couple of, maybe I'd say a month or so, we in studio, and we just like kind of wrote the music.
Okay.
They produced the beats and I'm writing the music. By this point, we'd figured that it's easier when I'm in the room than them sending me beats. So now I was able to contribute some thoughts. I'm like, I think this should be like this. So also that, I think it was also the frustration of wanting a different way to work, but not knowing what is that thing that you're looking for. So I just thank them so much for their patience during that time and their love, because they were just like, we just have to get this thing done. So we fight and then we continue. You have a bad day and then we continue the next day. They didn't give up on the process.
That's cool.
And maybe I want to say when we were like 7 or 8 songs down, when I wrote Susie Noma. So I wrote Susie Noma. So we work in the basement. Hook Studio is in the basement, so we never see the light. You only see the light when you go upstairs to go to the toilet. And when I was walking, I started to have a very animated conversation in my mind with this person called Susie Noma. I started seeing as Susie Noma, and I'm like, what the hell? Zimenilipukia gani hizi leo? But just go with it, right? Because you never know what's happening with inspiration. Just go with it. And so what actually then happened is I realized, I'd say maybe at the end of the day, I didn't even tell Akina Greg and Hook that day, but I just went and said writing. I said writing character notes. So Susie, she looks like this. This is the backstory of Susie, da 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 da. And literally, as I was writing, I could feel Susie correcting me some parts, like na, change that. And I was like, okay, this is interesting. This is also very weird, but just keep writing. When I wrote Lava, I had a very clear, I even have goosebumps. I had a very clear, it felt like this transgender woman just sat there. It felt like, it seemed to me that the song was about her, and she offered me no other information except that's my song. So I was like, you have nothing to say? No, okay, just write, just write. So after like 3 or so incidences like this, I was like, you guys, I don't know, maybe I'm crazy, but this is what's happening. And they were just like, go with it. Don't argue with it. Just go with it. Just write. That's how writers that's how filmmakers write. You have to imagine characters. You have to write a backstory of a character. So it's not, you're not going crazy. It's just for whatever reason, your characters have a backstory. So just write.
And had you before written, because you know what, that's writing about somebody else's experience.
Exactly. So that had not happened. The human condition was my perspective.
Yeah.
MDQ was my perspective. I'd never written a perspective that wasn't mine. But also the clarity with which it came, that I'm having this like animated conversations, like I was really in stream of consciousness. But when I said it to them and they were like, that's how writers imagine characters, I was like, oh. So me, when I was thinking that, am I going crazy? Then they're like, maybe you're unlocking a new way to write. So go with it.
That's crazy.
So then after that, I was like, perfect. Now, like, I can hang out with my characters in my head. I wrote all these character notes, bro. I came back to Nairobi. I went straight to the Nest Collective. I was like, guys, so there's this album I'm writing. And there are these characters, and I wonder if we can make a film.
So first, do a shout out to Jim Chuchu.
I want to shout out Jim Chuchu. I want to shout out Joki Ngumi. I want to shout out Sunny Dolat. Yani, they took that meeting with me, and okay, if you're not familiar with the work of the Next Collective, I ask you to go on Facebook now and watch a thing called Tukomacho. Then just come back. Just watch that and then come back. Do not comment in the comment section about the Nest before you watch Tukomacho.
Yeah.
The Nest.
And also go and watch Blinky Bill's Playhouse.
Okay. Yes. Don't do it. Don't comment before you watch those things, because you don't even know what you're missing. So they are my peers. We came up at the same time. But they are visual storytellers. So when Jim Chuchu stopped being a member of just a band, he continued with visual storytelling, making music. So he formed a collective with these other creatives who also wanted to tell stories. So quite early, Jim understood that music is a version of storytelling. It's not the version. So he went into that direction. Then together they made this thing called the Nest Collective, and they work on things, on projects together. They work on individually but together. It's such a cool way. They were the first of my peers who I saw. You're not a band, but you work on all your stuff together. You fundraise together, you develop each other's projects together, you have mutual ownership. For me, it's been such a big lesson in what it can be. Because you have to ask yourselves as a creative right now, what can it be? Must you die alone? And when you say collaboration, or when you say a collective, how do you balance the individual interest versus the group interest? How do you build wealth and worth together? So the Nest, in my view, are a masterclass that the Playhouse needs, but also of themselves. I would like the Nest, I would like to learn from the Nest, the idea of building work communally. It's beautiful. It's amazing. And they're in everything. They're in fashion. It is because of their work at the Nest and their learnings that they then figured, okay, we need financing. So they made a whole other division called Hiva, and Hiva's job is to give creatives money.
That's just insane.
So they're just amazing. Is what I'm saying. That's why I'm like, don't comment before you go and see their work. You don't know what you're missing.
I went for the launch. I think that time they were near Kilimani police station. But I didn't get what they
back in the day.
Yeah, I didn't get what they were doing at that time.
Yeah.
But later on, I've come to see what they have been able to do, because there's some creatives who felt like misfits within agency or within even working with different artists who just been told, just go to the Nest and you may find a home there.
Exactly.
And a lot of them were like, thank God I don't have to change.
Exactly.
If I want to do just lights and just some crazy kind of graphics.
They've just now released 2 comics on Mekatilili and on Wangoa Makeri, and then they've recorded a podcast. Guys, just go the Nest.
Okay, then. Okay, so you
finished. That is your plug. So I go to the Nest, and I'm sweating, bro, because first Njoki Ngumi is going to be in this meeting. Dr. Njoki Ngumi, I don't know, bro. Even talk about her is giving me sweat. There's nobody I prep for more than that. I'm just like, shit. I have to be on my A1. So I shared with them. They thought, they were like, that's so hilarious, that's amazing. They listened to the music, they're like, that's dope. So they're the ones who are like, okay, take this software, start to write out the stories. If you want to make it into a film, write out the stories, like each character, write out the stories. You're not even going to first get a writer. You first write everything. So they gave me this software that you're able to write in chapters, the dialogue. They gave me feedback. They gave me notes on the dialogue, on the feedback. What can it be? What can't it be? They helped me think about a budget, and then
this is insane. This is something that's branching off your music.
Yeah.
Or this
So me
project.
personally, if I had my way with she was going to be an audiovisual experience. I wanted it to be a film and music. The music to me, because of these characters, I didn't know that you can have characters. Now, in my mind, having understood that I had characters, when I went to the nest, it was so encouraged that like it can be that thing that you imagine it is, that it is a fashion, music, it's a film with music. You can make your own genre of storytelling. And I got the same feedback from Wanori Kahio, who's been a friend now for some years. Wanori was also like, it doesn't have to be music videos, it can also be a musical. They were the ones who were like, expand it. And then I had hoped that the Nest would actually be able to fund the production, but that year then they got the funding. They wanted to really do Tukomatro, so it was not, it was a time thing, the time space, and because there was music attached to it, because there was this album that then needed to go out into the market, because in Swizo we had fundraised. You can ask, so now the equivalent of MCSK.
No way.
So now, when you're a touring artist, when you're a touring artist in Switzerland, you can go and ask MCSK, yes, guys need to do a tour. We have 3K, but we need 10K. They'll give you the rest. Okay.
This is just...
And more, you can go to the equivalent of Uchumi or Taskies and ask. There's always money for artists. You just need to be a little motivated. The money exists. But because it's grant money, it means that if you say that your album is going to come out in 6 months, it has to have come out in 6 months. So because there was the music was time bound to some of the grants that we had gotten. So then we agreed with the Nest that I just produce the music and then we'll see what will happen if we'll circle back to doing the film.
Okay, but okay, let's
go. So
it's
still my ambition in life to one day, but I'm grateful. I have a long life ahead of me.
I keep saying the playoffs is not where you write your eulogy. It's just sharing your experience.
You guys are kwanza finding me at the beginning of a very nice place. I look forward to how much epicness we're going to do.
Okay, guys on the playoffs like saying, hi, cut the story, which is sometimes true because there's more dopeness within that element. But then there's something that you said. So what happened? So now they give you this program, you write down this character.
So I wrote the characters. We got to we advanced the script. They then connected me with Sally, who I'd met from Tamasha Fest. Sally helped me develop to think more about like the film is a new genre. So how you write characters in film, like for you to have for the movie to bamba you, like there are so many things that you don't know go back to making this character believable, relatable. So once I had the story down, and the next one, like now you have a solid story down, you now be bringing now a professional to now, it's like now let's go over this thing with a fine tooth comb. So then Sally gave me a lot of her time to help me like to think about the character acts, to be able like, where do we do some fundraising? Sally is the one who introduced me to, I can't believe I'm blanking. It's going to come just now.
Yeah, I'm just shocked that this is happening in Kenya.
Yeah, it's happening in Kenya. So I worked on the scripts for like a year, just developing them to come to a point where now a film producer can give you money to make that thing, because it would have been a very new genre also here. So you've seen it, You've seen it, and I mean, if you think about it, Kanye West did that when he did My Dark Twisted Fantasy, the 30-minute film that he put on YouTube. If you've never watched it, go watch it. Why are you denying yourself good things in life? That's how he dropped the project. He gave it with a short film, right? And then I would say the next time we saw, before him, Sun Ra had done that in the 70s. There's a very prolific artist called Sun Ra. And then the next time we saw an artist fusing sort of music and storytelling was Beyonce, right? So I think it's very important to say I wasn't doing it because a Beyonce had done it. In fact, I don't even know if Lemonade had come out when we were thinking about all of that. So it wasn't copying. It just happened.
It was from internal. It was from in
internal, yeah. And I often wonder if, for example, in that year we had gotten the fan. If we weren't time bound, how else could I have done it so that I would have ended up with She as a film, set book, music, fashion, something. Because also in She is when I realized I was writing the stories of women. So for a long time in the studio, we used to call it Book of Women before we found the name She.
Yeah.
Because we were just like, oh, we're writing these stories. And the boys, and so JR and Hook were very like, yo, this is very dope. We also haven't been in a conceptual piece of work like this. So we were all very motivated to figure out what it could be. So when we were not able to do the film, we're like, we'll do the traditional thing, which is to shoot a bunch of videos. I would now like to recommend right now, just go and watch the videos of She.
Okay.
There's a playlist on my YouTube channel called She. Just go watch the videos.
But let's tease them with a few. Let's just give them like, my snippets. So first and foremost, again, in the beginning of this thing, I had a conversation and asked you, how do you define yourself? And a few guys have asked me, how come you said the playoffs like that? I knew it would be different when you asked that. I'm like, and you said I'm a creator. So this was just a different form of creation that it's you. You are just about to express yourself differently. Through this whole process.
Absolutely.
Okay, so let's talk about some of the videos,
so a video like Kenyan Message, for example, that was all done in studio, and just building like a set. Like there's a place where I'm in a doctor's coat. Kenyan Message is really about Kenya. You fale inaitwa Kenya, and I'm in a pool. So we built that pool on set. So like just watching the things that you can do in a studio. The place where I'm on a drip, sitting on top of a drip, and you have this like gang. That's all Greg's and Hook's friends who just came through to be gang. But just those shots, it's a very, very good video. It was shot very well. The videographer, he's
is that low? Not it's not that low. Okay,
no.
That's
so
different.
that's not Ludo. So Ludo is the one who is then our visual storyteller for everything else. But in Kenyan Message, we felt it would be dope to be in a studio environment. And how could you lock? Because I wasn't in Kenya. I was in Switzerland. So how do you lock this Kenyan story in a studio? And just watching the resourcefulness, that to me, that's one of the best videos we've ever made.
Tangu ile siku tukuelect, aushikagi simu mentuwezi connect. Nimekuwa nikisaka an appointment, nimekuwa nikisafa disappointment. Siku hizi sukwa naga hoteli, sisi maobao wewe lunch hoteli. Panganga na mapoti beli, honi meni, watch meni. Wanakupangia wakikusalimia, na we uwezi notice hata uwezi dhania. Siku hizi kanti yote venye kuna njaa, kila mtu wanafikiria tu chapa. Don't push me, cause I'm close to that edge. I'm trying not to lose my head. Ni kama jango sometimes mimi uwanda, mbona sijaenda anda. Ni kama jango sometimes mimi uwanda, mbona sijaenda anda. Ni kama jango sometimes mimi uwanda, mbona sijaenda anda. Ni kama jango sometimes mimi uwanda, mbona sijaenda anda. Na wale wanadao ni 1%. Si uwaonaga siku ya kulipa rent. Sisi ukuwaga ndani ya predicament. Biggest spender, government. Unchurch officials. Na miracles are also artificial. Congregation wako so superficial.
Lava, that was shot on Lake, I think Lake Neuchâtel. But again, a very beautiful video. That really taught me, I think, to be honest, I would say in my view, Lava is the best video. Power too.
Power.
But
I was gonna be like,
okay. You're right. Okay, sorry, Lucy. You're right. But at that point, I would say Lava was because in Lava was the most low budget video you've ever seen. I think we spent money only on food and makeup. Lava, I just watched pure creativity. So like it's summer, so the days are longer. So you have what in the golden hour of shooting, which normally is like 15 or 20 minutes. In summer, your golden hour is 3 hours.
Yeah, that's so
right?
cool.
Switzerland is very naturally beautiful.
For guys who don't know the Golden Hour, we're talking about the sunset.
The sunset. You know that time you have that glow that just looks like Jesus is mulikaing you personally. Like that. You have it for 3 hours. So how do you utilize that? Greg has this old boat that his dad, gave to him. So how do you use a boat but not being like obnoxious? Like I'm on a boat. I'm like now this rich person on a boat. No, how do you just the resourcefulness of then now you're going to use your friend's boat. So the crew is on a boat and they're shooting you on this other boat, or the equivalent of Tuskies, right? Where they have those where they pack the cats outside. So we just took the cats and like as girls making so watch Lava. It's a very good video, and I'm telling you, except for makeup, we spent no money on that video. We used, there's a water scene. When we're not on the lake, we're now on a fountain. So literally a fountain in Tao. You just utilize the fountain. The fountain has lighting, so you just put dry ice, and that's how you have that smoky effect. So for me, Lava is one of the best videos we had ever done at that time. Susie Norma, the dance video, that again, it was in rehearsal. We were learning the choreography for Susie. Greg Hook and I felt like, a dance video is a nice way to interpret, because we were not sure what was the video concept. So in the meantime, let's do a dance video. So that's the dance studio that we go to. I think being in Switzerland if there's anything that it's like fueled for me, is facilities. Just make facilities for artists. Artists are already self-motivated. So just being in that space, we shot that thing on a phone. And the shots are very dynamic, because then there was a wheelchair in the front, so we borrowed the wheelchair, and Greg would push Hook, and Hook was then with us, with just a stabilizer that you buy for for 20K. That we shot the whole thing on a Samsung. That's not a plug for Samsung.
Sitting at the corner, me and Susie know. We ain't got no worries, we are looking like the owners. Sipping on Coronas, looking at the phone. All them pretty boys, come and tell us how they want. Mambo ni kungoja, haki utangoja. Sinaga my time, saku waiting na be oja. Planning how we want, discover the walks. Riding on the drums and the clap and the bass goes. Shake it down like. We tell you, simmer. Shake it down like. We tell you, simmer. If you really know it and you really wanna show it, be the way to go. Go and grab somebody, move your body, show somebody, be the way to go. On this I know, all this I know, all this I know. On this I know, all this I know, all this I know.
But the point I think is very important that I say these things, because often we act like we have to spend hundreds of thousands of dollars on music videos. That's even the advice MTV sent Garrick some years before to come and tell us the years of being nominated for Kina Mikono Kwenye Hewa. Their problem was East African videos are shady. You guys need to do videos that are more like MTV style with the Bugattis and I always felt like that's such fake storytelling. Nobody lives like that in Africa. That's not who we are. So Greg and Hook reminded me that in Lava there's Lava, really, I still think, I found that to be the most creative. There's a scene, like it's a friend, the director has this van, so using that, and then they're sitting on a car that's trailing it, using the lights of the car to put lighting. There are so many DIY. There's a scene where you put a steel wire that is on fire on a rope, and then it creates that sparkler effect. The creativity was high. So in lieu of money, we used creativity and things that you could get for free. So like, No More, you need No More in your life, the styling. So No More was Ludo. Ludo's wife loves the 70s retro. That's her style, that's their style. I didn't have Lucy with me in Switzerland, so Ludo's wife was also the stylist, so we had to use the things from her wardrobe. So then we decided to make a retro piece, and everything in it, we used our friend's house. The field of sunflowers behind us, literally, they're just like some sunflowers growing. So just go and plonk your chair in front of the sunflowers and shoot that. They're the ones, I think in Switzerland, the thing I've really learned is like, how much of nature can you use? How much of free nature can you use? And how much of your own creativity can you apply?
Mystery, just about getting ready to stay. Start an action type of way. How you want me to take it home, and I can't figure you. Can't get you off my mind. Can't keep it on my mind. Why you acting so unfair? Do you even really care? Can't keep on running her in, running her out, and running around.
So for anyone who's watching this, when you go to that video, look at that sunflower thing and just think about like all the places in Kenya that have amazing. So think about Tigoni or Kericho with the tea farms. So we have a lot of natural beauty, but we don't think about the natural beauty. We don't value the things that come naturally and easily.
We're looking for the Bugattis.
You're looking to tell this, you're looking for this, video vixens. You're looking for these things that don't mean anything. You're not telling the story of your song. Granted, a lot of the songs don't have a story either. Oh well, that's a whole other topic.
No, but I love what you've said right now. Should make somebody look at, this place where they sell shackles, bags on bags of shackles.
Absolutely.
As a set.
That's
like, oh my God, that's a set.
Exactly. That's the thing that happens naturally where you are. When I came back, I just remember seeing now everywhere. I'd just be driving on Ngong Road and I'm like, look at all these sets. Look at this place where they're making beds. Look at all these sets. Look at all the things that happen naturally in an environment that we don't value. It really changed my mind. Making the videos of She really changed my mind. Then on the Kenya side,
what I'm hearing, when you go to Swizo, it's work.
It's work.
Like it's grind.
Swizo nakuanga ni kisaka. Siendangi ati kupost up. Una post up sangapi.
To go look at the Swills apps.
Una post up. I've never actually seen I think, well, no. There's, I don't know. No, I've never even been to the Alps yet.
Yo.
There's very few off days when I'm there. Very few off days. When I'm there, we are grinding. We're doing work, and then I'm coming home. So in Nairobi, we produced Million Voice and Kenyan Message. Those were directed by Jenny, and we had a lot of frustration, specifically around Million Voice. Million Voice was going to be so much more, if you see our treatment. But our video director cancelled on us the day of the shoot. We were shooting on Sunday. At 2 a.m. on Saturday, he cancelled the shoot. And then told me a story that it was about the lenses that Jenny had gotten. So we had come, we'd agreed on the concept, and then we were sourcing some of the gear, and he was sourcing some of the gear. So the lens, not the lens, it was the lens brand. So we basically ended up he cancelled it on the day because it was like, I need this, it's like lens of Volkswagen, and you guys have gotten me lens of Toyota. So me, unless I have the Volkswagen. So because it was so technical, I didn't know how to respond. So you're the director, so I have to trust you. You're the DOP, so I have to trust you. But my director, Jenny, is telling me it doesn't matter whether you have the Volkswagen one or the Toyota one. It doesn't matter. The lens will do the same job. And I remember me and Jenny like clashing, and and I'm feeling so bad about it because Sunday we're meant to be shooting. So now we don't shoot on Sunday. So on Sunday I'm feeling so frustrated. I'm feeling so desperate. I go to hang out with my friend Sandra to tell her the story. As I'm going there, Jenny Muge calls me and she's like, can you please just check this link? Check this link I've sent to you right now. So I'm like, okay, so let me check. Turns out the director, the DOP, was actually having a shoot with Avril. That's why the nigger cancelled on the shoot. And then blamed Jenny and sold me the dream that Jenny is the one who has messed up. I've not spoken to that nigger again. So you first go and watch the video so you can know who I'm talking about. Because he plastered his name there. I don't care. Bro, I don't care. I don't wish you any success in your life. I don't. That was a very hurtful thing. And this is what happened. On Sunday, when we were meant to be shooting, now we didn't shoot because he was actually on another shoot. So on Monday, he still came to shoot with the lens, whatever. He still came to shoot. But on Monday, it rained half the day. Okay? So you'll see in Million Voice, my friend who's a rally driver, Bobo, shout out, right? Bobo had made his rally car available. And those shots were meant to be very different. It takes a very... those shots you see where there's a car like spinning, because we're meant to have the shots from the inside. It was meant to be me, like the spin. If you want to think about that spinning shot, think about like Glory, Nyashinsky's Glory, when he's in the car spinning. Think about Tiggs the author on the song called Run, so that you can, that's a very complex shot to do. It seems very easy, but it's so you need a bulk of hours to just work that shot. you also need a bulk of hours to work the matatu shots, right? So then what happened, because now the equipment, wherever he had gotten, he needed to deliver the equipment back on Monday night. So now we couldn't have an extra day of shooting.
So it was rushed.
Very rushed. And then he trained half the day. So we couldn't do that shot. Yeah. Okay? So it took me a very, very long time. And by long time, I mean now when I'm watching CTA Playhouse, after this Playhouse, it automatically goes onto my videos. So in the last week, I have now watched my videos. That's the first time I've been able to watch Million Voice since we made Million Voice.
What?
Yeah, I was very traumatized by that experience. I was very hurt by that experience. That DOP caused so much grief. And the thing that was meant to be so much, for us, Million Voice was meant to... The story of Million Voice initially, when I'd written it, was a Somali girl and Kenya's attitudes towards Somali and how it changed when the bombings happened. It's a very deep story, but it's really the story of immigrants, right? And the working class of immigrants. So whether you're in the States as an immigrant, the idea of working class, working people, that's why our storyline was a mechanic who's working on this rally car, and Joyce Minor, who is a matatu conductor. And we wanted to tell the story of working people. And then there's the lady who serves the fruits. So there's a point where the mechanic, the conductor, me as a musician, and the lady who are selling fruits, we juxtapose ourselves in one scene. All of these people are working class. I have a lot of value for labor, and I believe there's nothing that happens in life without intentional labor. So we had wanted to dignify labor. So we didn't get that. And I was like, how the hurtfulness of that experience is because you're a creative like me. You know how special, how difficult. By the time you've stacked up, 3K USD to do a video. Unajua venye tumejinyima for us to be able to give you this thing, for you to do. How much effort has been put in. So I was so pained. I've never been able to watch Million Voice until this time during CTA is when I've watched Million Voice. It's one of my favorite songs in life though. And we wrote it for a stadium, so it always smashes. In fact, the more the people, the more resonant Million Voice is.
I love the Playhouse. Makes me go and watch everything again.
Now like go watch everything.
Even those videos where your mind is limited. So you press play, I don't like the way that sounded or that looked, so you don't even finish watching. But watching this makes me first give the art its time. Whether or not, you see the way I was having a conversation with you about Burna Boy's new album, and you're like, you've just been listening to it over and over and over again.
You can't form an opinion too quick. You don't know what you're listening to. And there's a part of when you're listening, when you're the one who is projecting onto the artist what you want to hear, as opposed to receiving what the artist has created for you.
I did that because of you. I've done that with Yashinsky's album.
Good.
And now I'm on replay like crazy. I'm like, but I'm also doing that from your songs, from your story to now your songs.
So I really want, if you're watching Playhouse and you've never, in fact, if this is your first episode that you're watching, amazing. I welcome you to Muthoni Drummer Queen. I'm dope as go listen to She. It's all on YouTube because I put She on YouTube so that you can watch it and hear it at the same time. And in my heart, I know that I'm not done with She. I really look forward to having the funding to doing She as a set book, a set piece, some things. We should talk about the state, the role, the condition of women in our society and how women see themselves. Because finally, after the body of work came out, my friend Waboy, who put us on this whole journey, wrote me the best review. She's like, how she felt like when she listened to She, the thing that was a common theme is all the women are saving themselves. All the women become the hero of your story. So whether you're living a bad marriage or whether you're ganging up with your girlfriend to make a salon, which is a story of Susie Noma.
Sitting at the corner, me and Susie Noma. We ain't got no worries, we are looking like the owners. Sipping on Coronas, looking at the phone. All them pretty boys come and tell us how they want. Mambo ni kungoja, aki utangoja. Sinaga my time, saku waiting na be oja. Planning how we want, take over the walks. Riding on the drums and the clap and the bass goes boom. Shake it down like that. We tell you, simmer. Shake it down like that. We tell you, simmer. If you really know it and you really wanna show it, got no money, but we do it how we wanna. Minting our nails, checking our mails. All them pretty boys wanna have us, but they fail. Kim tangoja, leo mtangoja. Sai tuko waksa, kunaka za vioja. Running how we want to, take over the walls. Riding on the drum on the club while the bass goes boom. Shake it down like we tell you, simmer. Shake it down like we tell you, simmer.
Or whether you're a girl who is grinding and making life better in Million Voice, every person or lover, a trans woman who is owning her sexuality and her right to have love in the world. She's like, every woman is saving herself, and that's a story that isn't often said. When I did a focus group, I called a bunch of women who are my friends and who are in the media, and I remember that night playing the music before it came out. I just did a focus group to play them the music, to show them the videos. I remember Kwambox is the one who told me my only challenge with this, even on the songs where you're vulnerable, you're not really vulnerable. And I was like, yeah, because every woman in this thing has figured out how to be her own hero. So no one is wallowing here. Everyone is like in the process of like figuring their life out. It was very beautiful.
Is so deep.
It was so beautiful. The artwork of She, to me, is like museum worthy. So I'm a big fan of Michael Soy. I love the social commentary in the work, and Soy had begun drawing on bodies. And I remember going to Soy and being like, bro, I'm just gonna play you the music first. I'm gonna tell you about these women, and what I would like for you is to transform me into a motherboard, right? So I should be an embodiment of femininity. Will you make me the art pieces like inside? I'ma draw on you.
That's so cool.
And then I went and sold Lucy Robbie the dream. She's like, got you inside. So Lucy and Soy put together the visualization, then our friends at Focus Photo. So
all this happened in 2017, by the way.
This is all 2017, yeah. So those are all Kenyan creatives. So then Roy and Mutuma at Focus Photo, they're like, yeah, we're gonna shoot for you the cover. My boo, Musa's like, got you, I'm going to set it for you. And so for us, again, just like the human condition, it was, I now had another opportunity to make the album a piece of art. The album sleeve is a piece of art. And even behind you, I think, is the LP, if you want to pull it up.
For sure.
Yeah, so that's the LP version.
That's the most guys I've seen of me in my hand. That is too cool.
It's a back cover. So we wanted to make a motherboard of feminine divine energy.
And then you made an LP. I saw you even handing one to will.i.am.
Yeah. So we've been out here perfecting the art. So that's She. And then we put it out in 2018. At the top of 2018. So we did a show on the radio at Homeboys. I went back to Homeboys. We did a show on Homeboys. And then we did now the show with the fans. So we put out the show, I think, a month before, just for people to like hear the music and to start engaging with the music. And then in March or April, we did the concert at The Alchemist.
Oh, okay. Oh, this is the one that you the Alchemist.
The
Okay.
Alchemist.
Yeah.
Now getting into that show, we were so stressed. Yani, I stressed everybody. I stressed Lucy. Let me tell you, there's nothing worse than an artist who is unfulfilled or who is afraid, because now you need everybody else to interpret for you what's happening. And there's so much pressure. I can't even tell you. I felt so much.
What are the
putting
collabs
this
on this?
out
What are the
gave me
collabs?
so much. So this one didn't have a single collab.
Nice. I feel like this like almost back to your debut.
Yeah, this was just me and the Swizzos, right?
Okay.
But the pressure it meant so much to me. I wanted it to be so much. I wanted it to be understood. I wanted it to be received. I don't know. You guys just be nice to artists. When an artist is giving you the album, that's one of the most... Hata sa ile umejiamini aje, you know it's good, you know the music is solid, but like...
It's a big day.
It's a lot.
Yeah.
It's the fear also of being rejected. It's the fear, not so much of being rejected as much as of being misunderstood. It's wondering, have I done everything that I can possibly do for you to understand these stories and to make them your own? Will you find yourself when you hear this music? And then it's the Nairobi show. So it means so much to me that it succeeds at home. So now let's do the show. I'm doing it with my homies, Mook. They're like, we got you. So me, I was like, I hope like 300, at least 300 or 400 guys come, right? Because there's still a part of me that believes you've not really seen me outside of blankets. So will anybody come? Do I really have fans who are going to commit? I don't know if it was 5 Soko or G to come in for the gig. Are they going to commit to doing that? We had like 7 BGVs. We have dancers. Our other lighting engineer has flown in. Hook has flown in to do the live release with me. Yeah, there was a lot of pressure.
Oh.
And Lucy's under pressure. How will it look? So when I came. So Porgy, he was emceeing the show. So Porgy introduces, and me or Silko backstage, we're just there being stressed. I don't know which outfit doesn't look like the way it was meant to look. You're trying to remember, just like clearing your headspace. So when I got on stage and found a full alchemist,
Yep.
like 890 people bought tickets. And then there's, of course, the ones who are like friends of Alchemist. There's some freebies that we gave. So we were 1,000 and something people at the Alchemist. There are no words. There are no words. I'll never forget that feeling. Yeah, I'll never forget that feeling. And that there was the front row knew words.
Whoa.
Yeah, the front row knew words.
They already consumed the content
yes,
enough to...
because we put out the project.
At
least they had, I think the project was out for a month or 2 before we did the live show. So they knew the words. And that was a very gratifying feeling. And the ones who didn't know the words, because there were also some people who just pulled up to the Alchemist and they found, oh God, there's a concert tonight. Okay, oh well, I'm already here. So they just paid. Those ones were the best. There were some Swiss people in the audience who we're now friends with. Then they were just in Nairobi for work. And then they came to the Alchemist and then there was this concert and they're just like, what's happening here? What are the chances that there's like a Swiss Kenya project and then we're here at the Alchemist? And we sold out the merch that night.
No way.
It was beautiful. That's the night that also I discovered that now Mokeira, who is the makeup artist, actually isn't a makeup artist. She's a visual artist. Makeup is just one of the things that she does. She painted this beautiful portrait and brought it for me. My friends like got together and made this like beautiful thing that they presented me. I had no idea about any of these things. So
these are some good stories.
Yeah, she's beautiful. That was a very affirming night. It was then after that, like we hanyed. We went to have breakfast at cafe, I think at like 6:30 a.m. And then the people working that shift, they knew our music. So now they said playing Suzy Noma in the background. Yeah, that was a very magical night. I feel like if there was a night where God had put it together for me to just know like, yeah, it's okay. Even home there's love for you. I still have the message like BN sent for me. It was like a hyper emotional message. So to get that also from artists, that's a lot of artists that day were just like, yo, you have to teach us this live thing.
Was Ecstatic there?
Was Ecstatic?
That's not the one where she didn't cut and raise for you.
No.
You didn't have cut and raises for that show, did you?
No, we didn't have cut and raises for that show. We didn't have cut. I have a lot of love for X. X is like my baby.
And we'll talk
we'll get
about
into X,
yeah.
But I did have a cypher with Akina Valerie Muthoni, Monski. It was that whole night, everything about that whole experience was very affirming. And it's like, it's okay. Even as you do it over there, some of it also belongs for you here at
There's
home.
people here who need it. In fact, who want it now. Yeah. This is, thank God, man. This story needed this silver lining. After all, guys, they're like, okay, can we give her roses?
What? Yeah, so at some roses started to arrive.
Not at just like even before from that. So, but then what I'm also hearing for you is that now your hard work. It's not that you've not been working hard before, but let me even say almost your consistency to your belief of yourself was beginning to show. I feel like you were charting your own path, and now there are fruits being seen.
Yeah.
You get what I mean?
Yeah.
Because
1 minute.